are already loaded, but okay, Streamlab, you do your thing, man. Bet we are live. What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers, Kidblue fans and Kidblue watchers, Kidblue's Instagram and Twitter followers. What's up, guys? How you doing? Welcome back to another episode of the Young Guns podcast. This time on my channel here with my co-host Kidblue. Shout out to everybody in the chat real quick: Edward Chan, Mike Nixon, Football Talk, and Toast. What's up to you guys? How you doing, Kidblue?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. We've got some very disappointing news today, but for the most part, I'm doing all right.
Ben Wynn said I added you and Kidblue to our IG chat and no one responds. I never got added to an IG chat.
I
So
didn't see
maybe
an IG chat
yeah,
either.
maybe that's why we didn't respond. I never
Yeah.
saw getting added to an IG chat. Anytime anybody DMs me though, I always respond. I would check right now on my phone, but my phone is my camera. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm screen capturing right now, so I can't exactly switch out of Skype to go check it on on the computer or anything. Shout out to Kevin Cronin as well. So Ben, maybe I don't know. First, I think you may have to send just a normal DM, and then I think like we have to accept it, and then you could probably add us to a group chat. I think that's how it works. That's just me guessing though.
Yeah, I have no clue how that works.
Yeah. Shout out to Kevin Cronin in the chat as well as Nerding Out Sports. So you mentioned the unfortunate news, man. You want to start out with the bad news first? I thought, maybe we'd put it off a little bit, ease them into it, but like you mentioned it, so go ahead, man.
Yeah, it's the biggest news for the Giants today, so might as well just throw it out there first.
Oh, hold up. KB, hold
Live
up.
events
For a
here.
second there, your Skype went out for a hot second.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
All right, cool. But a series of unfortunate events happened as the Giants are down now. Not only one but two key defensive players just after today, both needing surgery. One is going to be out for the year. One is
Oh, I
hopefully going
didn't
to
see
come
that
back.
one of them was out for a year. Is it David Mayo that's out for the year?
David Mayo is going to be out for a year with the torn meniscus, and Xavier McKinney is a hopeful to come back by week 10. Of course, be putting by IR. He can't come back until at least week 10. Xavier McKinney, he tore his fourth Mattis. I don't know how to say
I
it.
thought no, Xavier McKinney fractured his foot. I think
Yeah, fractured his foot.
David Mayo is the one that has a torn meniscus or
Right,
something.
right. He fractured his foot. He broke his fourth metatarsal or something like that. I don't know. But I guess he broke his fourth
Hey
finger
man,
or
maybe
toe.
I'll have to bring back on the football injury doc on one of these podcasts so he could examine
I'm
that.
not very educated when it comes to that, but it sounds bad, and it sucks, man, because Xavier McKinney, he was supposed to be such a key part of this defense, what the Giants wanted to do, from what it seemed like they wanted to use that, big nickel type of look with, the three safeties in there, and, have Julian Love and Xavier McKinney and Jabril Peppers rotate, one slot, one free, one strong safety, and kind of rotate from there, because all those guys are Swiss Army knives. Xavier McKinney has done a lot in college. Jabril Peppers is like the Swiss Army knife coming out of Michigan, and Julian Love is learning to be that now. It was such a huge part of our defense lost there. And David Mayo, he was a key run stopper. He was slated to be our starting inside linebacker. I probably wouldn't have chosen as our starting inside linebacker.
You thought he would have started over Ryan Connolly?
No, not me. But it seems like the consensus around the media was saying that he's the starting inside linebacker. Not in my opinion. I think
Wait,
Ryan
but who's
Connolly's-
been? I haven't seen anything like that. For all
Well,
what I've
PFF
been
and
seeing is that like
anybody
it's been a scratch even competition from what I've read.
Yeah, well, PFF, when they came out, they predicted David Mayo being the starting linebacker, and when the injury came out, a lot of people were saying, Giants starting inside linebacker, whatever.
Oh damn, that's clipped.
So I don't think he is a starter, but he was in competition for it, so it's still a big loss there. He's a key run stopper for us. I think his position might be a little bit easier to fill than Xavier McKinney's. I know we have Julian Love there, but they're just different players in my opinion. But yeah, unfortunate, very unfortunate.
Shout out to Nerding Out Sports in the chat. He says you're MH. There's a guy named Noname. I think I got myself in the chat here. Shout out to Noname. Benjamin Wynn says that he added us again. I'm gonna have to check after the stream, man. Maybe Kidblue, if you have access to your phone, you could check now. I'm not sure about that.
I see a notification. Yeah.
I bet. Toast says.
Yeah, it's called. Okay.
What?
Benjamin, I don't think I'm gonna be part of that group.
What? Why? What's happening?
I'm not gonna say it on air. No.
Damn, bro. I can't even look right now. Jesse Bryan in the chat. What's up with you? Toast says something's off with Kidblue. Either he got a new haircut or he's not wearing, and then his thing ended. But Kidblue got a new haircut like last week.
Yeah, last week, man. I had to get it, man. I was looking real bad. But
I mean, I don't think it's as bad as this, Chief. Like, this is literally overlapping my entire forehead.
Yeah, I was getting the little overlap going. I was starting to grow wings here.
Yeah. Mr. Fishing says Logan Ryan or Earl Thomas will help the healing process. We're about to get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Joel Yato says it hurts losing a player, but Xavier has not played it down yet. Relax, he'll be back in the second half of the season. We, the Giants, always chose the hard road. Well, he is.
I don't think we chose this.
Yeah, I don't think we chose the hard road. Yeah.
I don't think we said, "Hey, Xavier, we like to do things the hard way, so I need you to break your foot." I don't think we did that.
Exactly, but I will say, I mean, yeah, I think he's gonna be back in the second half of the season. We'll see how he does. He is a rookie, but of course he's a rookie with very, very high expectations. So it's not like he's any regular rookie coming in, and we kind of don't expect him to make an impact. Basically, everybody expected him to make an impact. Edward Chan says we shouldn't sign either. Are you talking about Logan and Earl? All right, before we get into that, I kind of wanted to give my thoughts. And Bobbit says, feet pics. Listen, Bobbit, that was once. That was like, listen, it was once. And I said as a joke, Wolves asked for it. I said as a joke to Wolves $15 super chat. He actually did it. So I went through with my word. So Bobbit, same thing to you, bro. Same thing to you. $15 super chat. And then I'll do it. Wolves paid the price.
Am I hearing that you sent some feet pics?
No, I just showed,
Okay.
you know, like, you know what I'm saying? I brought it up.
Oh my god.
Right? I brought it up. Listen, I will never send. Okay? Shout out to Nikki in the chat, a channel member. She's using the exclusive channel emojis, the Giants helmets, guys. Become a channel member. You already got that. Benjamin said we don't even talk about that. We talk mostly sports. I'm guessing he's referring to Bobbit. I'm sorry, Ben. I'm sorry, man. Anyway, so yeah, my opinion on the whole Xavier McKinney and David Mayo thing. With David Mayo, I think we're kind of better set because we have more depth at linebacker than we do safety. That's not to say it won't hurt us at all. I mean, but yeah, it's like I didn't know who was going to be the starter. It was definitely a competition between him and Connolly. I don't want to say Connolly automatically gets it now, but I mean, that's kind of the way it's looking. And Connolly himself is coming off an injury. Who, by the way, Ryan Connolly hasn't been in practice. At least this is information up to yesterday, up to Tuesday. I don't know if he was in practice today. But from last Thursday to Tuesday yesterday, he hasn't been in any practices because he re-aggravated his knee or something.
And also Devontae Downs, who's in competition for now the starting role too, who's been impressing in training camp. They're both missing practices, which is not good.
Our linebacking core, which had good depth, is now the other two guys that were there. They've been missing practices. More so, I'm more concerned about Connolly because he's the guy we know about. You know what I'm saying? We know what we can get from him. He's coming off a pretty gruesome injury. Like, he hasn't practiced in almost a week. That is going to be really hard. I don't know what's happening there. It's looking like, it's basically looking like how it was last season, except now it's happening before the season actually started. When Alec Ogletree went out, when Ryan Connolly went out, and then David Mayo ended up starting, it's basically the same thing again, except now it's Mayo is out, Connolly has yet to come back to practice, David Downs has yet to come back to practice. I wouldn't be surprised if Tay Crowder, the Mr. Irrelevant pick, ends up starting.
Yes.
The very last pick in the NFL 2020 draft. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up starting.
I like this guy. And look, isn't it a great time now to say that the Giants drafted 3 inside linebackers last year?
I mean, well, only one of them is playing. I mean, 2 of them is playing inside linebacker, right? TJ and
Cam Brown is
outside, yeah.
Yeah, so he's playing edge rusher now. But how fitting was it? But I like Tay Crowder a lot, and I like Tay Crowder more than TJ. Tay Crowder is really a little bit more agile. TJ Brunson is more like a thumper, which is kind of what David Mayo is. So if anything, I guess TJ would fill in that role better. But I like Tay Crowder as an inside linebacker.
I feel like the thing that I have with both of them, at least physically, because technically speaking, they can both improve, and athletically, there's not really much you can do about that. But physically speaking, I think they both need to get bigger. I think they're both a little small.
Right, yeah, and because Tay Crowder was running back in Georgia, he had to transition to linebacker because they had so many running backs over there. But yeah, he's a little undersized. He's a little undersized.
Yeah, so like I mean, but like you said, he's a bit more agile than TJ. Do you think that adding a little bit more muscle would kind of slow him down, or you think he'll be able to keep it up if he does that?
It depends on his athleticism. It depends how he also gains the weight, how he's able to control it. I feel like that's something the trainers are gonna have to discuss with him and see what the best option is. He probably shouldn't gain. I don't know how much he's weighing right now. I wouldn't say it's anything
I
less than 230, 240 or something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
really think he's around 230, 235.
Yeah, so if you gain another 10 pounds, I don't think it would affect him too much as far as negatively.
Benjamin says, "Oh, KB, if you look in our chat, it's only sports. He only puts that as the title. So I'm guessing it's the title that threw you off.
Okay, yeah, the title really threw me
So
off.
do
I
some
thought I was,
investigation and let me know what's up, bro."
yeah.
Toast says, "I don't know why, but if I was Joe Judge, I would sign Kidblue to the team as a player to the bench to warm up Daniel Jones. What do you think about that, man? You'd probably make a pretty good bench warmer."
I mean, I guess. I mean, any way to be a part of the team, man. Any way to be a part of the team.
Shout out to Jesse Bryan in the chat as well. Bradley says, "What's up? What's up, Bradley? So sad about Mayo and McKinney. Yeah, I mean, it's sadder than you realize. It's like it hits harder than you realize when you think about the fact that Mayo was really in competition for that second linebacker spot. I mean, we already know how it affects us with XAVIER McKinney, but at least there's a chance that he's coming back at latest like week 8. I think I saw a post that said it's a 4 to 6, 4 to 6 weeks is the estimated time. So I'm gonna give him an extra 2 on that, maybe for a little bit of extra recovery.
Well, because he got the surgery, so they said 2 months. But
Okay.
but the thing is, players sometimes, doctors always give something way out in the future. You can always come back a little earlier. And I was wondering if the Giants should even I put this in my video, if the Giants should even put him on IR, because I want him to be able to play before week 10.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter if they put him on IR because with the new NFL rules, because of COVID and whatnot, you could bring unlimited players off of IR this year at any time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
they could put both of them on IR and it would be no
oh,
consequence to
so
them.
be it then. So be it. I don't mind that at all then. I don't really know why they would do that because COVID only keeps you out for 2 weeks, but it is what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, I read that. I think it was either in a Giants Wire or a Big Blue View article where they were like, because of circumstances, they can now bring unlimited players off IR. I think they did it because they were anticipating a lot of players opting out. So maybe since they're like, all right, the quality of starters might have gone down, so they might need to bring in a lot of people or something like that.
Yeah.
Mr. Fishing says we have a bunch of lunch pail linebackers. We need a stud. We've been missing a good linebacker for too long. Yo, I don't want to get way too ahead in the future, but a linebacker or wide receiver might be the first pick for the Giants in the first round next year, because I'm pretty sure we could find a center in the second, third, or fourth rounds. Or Nick Gates. I mean, speaking of which, let's get into that actually. Nick Gates is actually performing really well. He's surprising everybody with how good he's performing. He might be the starting center for a while. What do you think about that?
Let me tell you, man, I am less surprised now that I did my film review on him, man. I am less surprised how well he's doing on the interior. I said it throughout my whole entire video. When he was playing against the Dolphins, and granted it is the Dolphins, but still, when he was in the interior, dude was a complete different player than when he was playing a tackle spot. And it's very weird because he was a tackle in Nebraska. He played left tackle in Nebraska. You would think he knows how to kick slide. You would think he knows how to set an anchor, keep a wide base. He can't do that as a tackle.
Now,
But when he
this
plays
might
guard,
sound weird, but does anybody have deep information on Nick Gates? Like, did he play center in high school or something, and then for some reason he was tackling
no,
college?
as far as what I'm hearing, he's never even touched the center position until the Giants asked him to do that this offseason, and he's doing great at it.
Yeah,
Like
like
I
let's
said,
call a spade a spade. He's doing
mhm,
better than Pulley and Shane Lemieux.
right, and I'm completely okay with that. And people think I just hate Nick Gates because he's Nick Gates, but listen, if he plays well, that he's great. But I just knew that he wasn't going to play well at a tackle spot, but at this interior, granted, the center is different from guard, but it still uses the same techniques and sort of thing like that. I just hope he's able to get down the mental game of being a center. You gotta know all the protections. You gotta know
You
what
gotta
everybody's doing.
you gotta be able
You
to,
gotta,
in some
right,
cases, even to have your own cadence down so that the defense
right,
doesn't know when you're doing a run and when you're doing a pass play. Because with new players at center, their cadence is one of the things they always mess up because sometimes they speak deeper when they're doing a run or they speak louder when they're doing a run unconsciously. He's gonna need to get that down at some point too.
Right, and you know, I just hope he gets that mental game down. But as far as what I seen him playing on the interior, I really like what he does on the interior. I mean, he manhandled Christian Wilkins throughout that whole entire game, and he's no slouch. Christian Wilkins was supposed to be the better defensive tackle out of Clemson.
Yeah, between him and Dexter Lawrence, Wilkins was the one getting the hype.
Yeah, and so you know, he was getting all the hype, and Nick Gates, an undrafted free agent out of Nebraska, who played tackle. Played left tackle, playing right
and
guard,
right tackle. Played left tackle, right guard, basically everything but center.
Right. And so
so I got a question for you. How in the world did the Giants know or think, let's put this guy at center? Because they knew it before anybody else.
Well, I think it's because how versatile he was. You guys remember David Deal a couple of years ago? I mean, he was thrown out everywhere, and I figured, like, you know, they kind of seen that, okay, he kind of plays tackle, he kind of holds his own. He's not really there yet. He starts that Miami game, just blows me away with how he played in the Miami game. Now, he didn't perform like Marshall Yanda or anything like that, but he far exceeded expectation from an undrafted free agent. You know, he far exceeded expectation when it comes to just a placeholder. I mean, he actually played like a starter in that game. So I feel like they saw that and like, wow, he could really play on the interior. Let's have him competing for the center position because he's played all these other positions already. Might as well just throw him out in that fifth position there at center. You know, we don't really have a set center. Like, we have Spencer Pulley.
How good do you think he can be, though? Like, realistically speaking, how good do you think he can be?
I think he could be decent. Now, I'm not going to sit here and give him all the hype and say he's going to be a top center in the league. I'm not.
Yeah, I have my phone down because I was like, what's happening? What in the world is happening?
Okay, we are back. Your stream froze. Everything froze. Man.
Yeah, everything froze. Hold up. Let me get you back up. I got to get my own camera back up, too.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. I'm guessing that's... I told you about the tree when I called you earlier today. There was a tree that fell down in front of my apartment building. I'm just going to guess that somehow caught a wire or something because my internet is actually pretty good. So, I mean, let me get this back up. That's my only thing that I can think of right now.
Just some technical difficulties, guys. He has a tree in front of his house, so.
Yeah, like no cap. All right. Okay. So now it's just like I don't want to capture Skype. That's okay. I'm just gonna add a new capture device. Chat, please tell me that you're connected once again. I see that it says successfully connected.
I'm right now.
But
right now. We're back.
Oh my God, what was that? Now I gotta choose.
Stick with us, guys. Stick with us.
Just stick with us. I bet it looks like I'm gonna have to just do straight up display capture instead of window capture. That's fine. It just means I won't.
Yeah, OBS does the same thing every time there's a glitch.
Every time there's a glitch, it's just like, yeah, bro, you can't do anything now. Just couldn't capture your entire screen.
Yeah, it's too late.
Yeah. Wait, where is it? There it is. I'm like, where is it?
We're dealing with some. There was a slight freeze. Yeah, we're missing me. I know Ben. He's trying to.
I have to adjust this now. I have to adjust this so that it captures his face actually. So let's do this.
Benjamin says 24-hour stream. Yeah. Okay.
Oh sure, bro. I mean, it's not like we have anything else to do.
I don't think I'd be alive for that, man. I think I'd die. I love my sleep, man. I don't know how Bad Dog does it, but.
Kidblue, tell me. Can you look at the stream and tell me if it's alright?
Right now it's good.
Cause yeah, I'm like I will not be able to see the chat or anything now, unfortunately.
Okay.
Actually, well, I'll have to pull it up on the other computer. But yeah, you were talking about Nick Gates and how good he might be. Let me just pull it up on my laptop.
Right. So back on the Nick Gates. Nick Gates is definitely going to be a decent center. Is he going to make his name out in the NFL world as a center? Probably not. He's probably just going to be an average center, maybe above average, but that's all we need. That's really all we need.
I mean, an average center in the NFL is good. It's really good.
Right. So I don't mind that whatsoever. If he just becomes an average center, I think we got our money's worth basically getting an undrafted rookie. We didn't have to draft this guy. We didn't have to pay big money to this guy, So
how much is he even getting paid right now? Is he even getting paid like more than the vet minimum? What does the undrafted rookies get paid?
I think because he got re-signed, so I don't know if he's under he's under contract right now is like freaking I think less than $1 million. So next year I think his new contract starts at like 3.5 or something like that. Um, so I don't know how this contract situation is, but he's already re-signed, which is a great thing. So he's on now. So how's everything looking? It's good.
Yeah, it's good. Shout out to John Doe in the chat as well. Toast says, "Oh yeah, how did you react when we got the giant wind and rain? For the first 5 seconds, I thought someone broke in my house." That was a couple weeks ago. I actually put a little clip up on YouTube. The entire park by my house was just wrecked because of all the wind and how strong the wind was. It was terrible.
Was that Isaiah's?
Huh? I don't know if it was. It was a couple weeks ago. I don't know what it was. It was 2 or 3 weeks ago. But yeah, man, the wind was terrible. John Doe says the NBA is boycotting, and the backlash in the comments is crazy. Never seen anything like it. I mean, me and Kidblue spoke about that before we went live a couple hours ago. I mean, we might get into it a little later on. We'll see how receptive you guys are. If nobody really if the chat is not exactly receptive to it, we're not gonna force it. But what we were talking about was pure logistics. We weren't talking politics or anything. We're just talking the logistics and how effective it might be and stuff like that.
Right.
In terms of Gates at center, to kind of get back. So Gates at center, you say you expect him to be anywhere from basically bad with his ceiling being average, which honestly makes sense. How long do you see him starting for it? Is he going to be our full starter 16 weeks through?
I think he can be as long as he stays healthy. I think if he's on that interior, if he plays as consistent. Now, it's a small sample size that I was able to watch him because he only started one game at right guard. One game on the interior. Both the other 2 games he started was at tackle, and he didn't play too well in those positions. But when that one game at guard, if he plays like that all 16 games and stays healthy, I have no issue. There were some times where he was literally the only one holding up that right side of the line. Where he was helping out Remmers, where he was helping out.
He was up and out Zeitler on the right side.
Right. Oh no, he was taking Zeitler's place.
Mm-hmm.
On that Miami.
And actually, now that I kind of by mistake I brought that up because I forgot he was in for Zeitler for a while. He's going to be helped out by 2 great guards, especially an elite one in Zeitler and a really good one that has the potential to be elite in Hernandez.
Yeah, and listen, he's gonna be a good help too. One thing I said in my film review, and if you guys haven't already, if you guys are very curious about Nick Gates and how he's gonna play, how he played at tackle, how he played at guard, and potentially how he's gonna play at center, make sure you guys check out my video. It's a huge in-depth video. It's 29 minutes long on Nick Gates. But what was I getting to? Oh yeah. So the best thing I can note about Nick Gates, his awareness and his attention to the players around him, to everything surrounding him. He understands where everybody is at all times. Like there was this one play in Miami where he had nobody on him at all, like nobody within 5 feet of him. So there was a pass rusher lined up on the center and a pass rusher in like the 7 technique all the way out where the tackle was at. So he had nobody in the vicinity. So as soon as the ball is snapped, he's trying to see where is it he needs to help. So he helps out the center at first, go out and helps out the center, then sees the edge rusher winning against Mike Remmers and throws the pass rusher off that was on the center and moves over to the tackle and helps out the tackle. And it was one of the most amazing
it was probably the best play of his career.
Right, it was one of the best plays I've seen as far as awareness goes. He was able to throw out one pass rusher, help out another, and he completely
Were you
held
surprised
that
by
right
the
side.
strike that he had to throw the pass rusher?
Yes, because he's a big kid, but he looks a little slim.
Yeah, he looks small for. I'm gonna keep it real. He looks
Right.
small for an offensive lineman.
Yeah, he's 6'6", but he has such a slim frame that you wouldn't even think that he's that powerful. But there was this one play against Christian Wilkins where he completely throws Christian Wilkins to just strong arms him to one side to keep him away from Saquon. So he's able to do these things. There was one play as well where he had Christian Wilkins by the shoulder pads, and he was like getting walloped and tackled, and he was falling down, but he still held on to Christian Wilkins, and Wilkins is like, "Get the hell off me!" So he was,
Yeah.
he's a strong kid. He is really a strong kid.
He's stronger than I thought he was, for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of people are probably like, well, this is a different KV than I've ever heard before.
You gotta wear that Nick Gage jersey because OGR already bought it, man. You gotta wear that and rock it.
I'm waiting for it to come in the mail. But if he starts at center, I'll wear it proudly, man. I'll wear it proudly.
Nah, I think you're gonna wear it even if he doesn't start. To be honest with you.
I think I'll maybe wear it anyway.
Yeah, I think you might wear it anyway. I think you've low key become a fan of Nick Gates.
Listen, I love that Miami film of him. I'm just gonna say that I loved that Miami film of him. He did. I was thoroughly surprised. There was too many plays where I was like, "Damn, that was good."
Mm-hmm.
Like, damn, that's a starting guard. That's a starting guard play. That's not just an undrafted rookie. Like, if you were to throw on Nick Gates' film against Miami, and you would know nothing, like you know nothing about Nick Gates, you would say, damn, that's a pretty good pickup. Where was he drafted? The third round or something like that? Was he third round pickup? Like, he looked that good. Now, like I said, he wasn't like Marshall Yonda status where he was just throwing guys off and killing everybody and pulling and pancaking everybody. He only had one pancake, and that was with the help of other linemen.
Mm-hmm.
But you would have swore that this guy was at least a mid-round pick. And not an undrafted free agent, a guy that was a complete doorman at a different position. He played left tackle in Nebraska. This is a guy that just came.
It makes you wonder how misused he was at Nebraska or something like that. And maybe that's why he went undrafted. He was probably just completely misused. Yeah.
My God. He was, like I said, I called him the doorman. He was an absolute doorman. He let everybody.
He was probably terrible there because he probably shouldn't be playing. No, he should not probably. He just shouldn't be playing tackle.
Well, yeah, exactly. Let me tell you something right now, and I'm going to get a little negative on Nick Gates just to let everybody be aware that he really can't play every position, that well, although he's serviceable at a position. I guess you could say he's serviceable at tackle, but listen, this guy cannot kick slide. As you guys know, you guys need a kick slide when you're a tackle to handle these speed rushers, to be able to control your feet. You need to be able to set an anchor. You need to be able to switch your anchors. You need to be able to keep a wide base. Sometimes his freaking knees are clacking together, man. That's how close his feet are.
And by the way, that's something that that the just Giants coaches in general, offensive and defensive line, I love. They show like the position focus or whatever they call it for both offensive and defensive line. They're focusing so much on footwork and hand placement. It's amazing.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen them focus so much on it in like a previous Giants regime or something like that.
Yeah, especially for the offensive line position, you need to have the right footwork. Against the Jets, it looked like he was dancing someplace. His feet were all over the place. His knees were clacking together. And that leaves you vulnerable to be bull rushed. When you don't have a wide base, where you're not able to set an anchor, you're gonna get. If these guys had tape on Nick Gates prior, they would have just bull rushed him the whole way. Forget about doing any type of other moves. They would just bull rushed him the whole way, knocked him on his feet, knocked him on his butt, and kept it moving. He was so vulnerable to that.
Toast says, "Wait, Nick Gates is good?"
Yes. Nick Gates is good on the interior.
Specifically the interior. Mr. Fishing says.
And exclusively on the interior.
Mr. Fisher says he will do his job and improve every game. Nerding Out says he's always been a fan. Yeah, Nerding Out knows for the longest, bro. You've always been a fan of Nick Gates. You've always been a fan of Dez. You've always had a Cowboys jersey in your closet. Nerding Out Sports knew this before anybody else, man.
He's always been a fan. All the conspiracies are awesome.
Mr. Fisher Fishing says, I'm gonna grab me a Caden Smith jersey if it becomes available. You saw the pass, that deep pass DJ through to Caden Smith. Jesus Christ! Yeah, that was amazing.
Great play by Caden Smith, man.
Talk about ball play. Great play by Caden Smith, but ball placement, goddamn.
Let me tell you, I'm already used to it. Like when I see Daniel Jones and his ball placement, it's on par with
How much stronger do you think his arm is? Because that was a far pass. And I actually kind of made a comment on this in one of my videos. Like, I know, like, Chris and Bad Dog, they made a whole video out of it, but I only did the last part of, like, you know how I do my update videos. I put multiple things in one vid. I only did the last part on it because I was like, I think we all expected him to be stronger. You don't just add on 10 pounds of muscle and there's no type of benefit to it, right? So I'm like, I expected it to be strong, but until I saw that Caden Smith play, I'm like, he had an average arm last year. People killed him. And when I say people, I mean like media critics and quote-unquote gurus and experts.
Yeah.
They killed him coming out of the draft saying he basically had a noodle arm, which was completely untrue. Daniel Jones had an average arm for an NFL quarterback, which is all you need as an NFL quarterback, an average arm. He looks like his arm is quite a bit stronger this year. How much stronger are you thinking?
I'm not sure. I mean, as far as what we can tell from the QB coach, Jerry Saplinski, he really, really is impressed with how his arm strength has been so far. Jerry Saplinski actually said he worked with Daniel Jones before the draft.
Which is not a surprise. I mean, Miami last year definitely needed a quarterback.
Right. So he worked him out, and he was able to observe him there. But he said when he came over here, he saw his arm that he was thoroughly impressed. So that means it's gotten significantly better, not just like a tad bit better where it's barely noticeable. I mean, Shaplinsky was able to notice it, and he was raving about it. So as far as how I can't really give like a exact amount, but I'm sure it's going to be significantly better. I never had a problem with Daniel Jones's arm strength.
Because it was good enough, yeah.
It was good enough. I think the only thing that people wanted to see was the velocity of the ball get fat, more velocity on the ball. I mean, the distance was fine. I just want to see the ball get there faster, So I think that's what people wanted in arm strength. But as far as distance on the ball, I think it's okay. If it's gotten even better, then that's great.
I mean, yeah, that's great.
All the merit. You can never have too much arm strength, unless you got to have the accuracy, of course. But you really can't have too much arm strength.
Bradley says, isn't it crazy that we got the best defensive tackle in last year's draft? No, but what is crazy is that we got him at 17th overall pick after like 2 or 3 guys went ahead of him. And that's the reason. All the time, exactly, man. And that's the reason I actually had somebody ask this. Why did I put like Dexter Lawrence's draft thing in my hype vid? Because I specifically did players that are gonna have a big impact on us that we drafted. That's kind of the story of the hype vid. And I'm like, how can you even ask that, bro? He's the best defensive tackle in that class by far. It's not even close. A lot of people think it's closer than it actually is. It is by far, unless one of these guys comes out and like they absolutely have a breakout season. Right now, it's a lot bigger gap than people think, at least in my opinion.
Listen, Dexter Lawrence as a defensive tackle, as a run-stuffing defensive tackle, was getting so much hype. We don't see that anymore. You don't see the media going off about a run-stuffing defensive tackle anymore. They want to see Aaron Donald-type defensive tackles, you know what I mean? So the fact that he's getting all the hype is well-deserved. Listen, Quentin Williams was completely silent last year.
And by the way, Kwachi, shout out to him. He listed the people that were ahead of Dexter Lawrence. Quentin Williams, Ed Oliver, Christian Wilkins, who we just talked about.
Right.
Those were the guys ahead of Dex that were drafted ahead of him.
And I would say the player closest to him is Ed Oliver. Quentin Williams and Christian Wilkins, underperformed last year. And Christian Wilkins was supposed to be the better defensive tackle coming out of Clemson. Dexter Lawrence, believe it or not, there were three linemen coming out. No, 4.
Yeah, all 4 linemen coming out of Clemson had hype. It's just that the 4th one was a 3rd round, 4th round prospect.
Yeah, something like that.
But the other 3 were all 1st round picks.
Dexter Lawrence got the least hype out of it. Cleveland Farrell was the big thing, right? Cleveland Farrell was a big thing,
because he was the pass rusher.
Yeah, Cleveland Farrell was a big thing. Then there was Christian Wilkins. Everybody loved him, so was Christian Wilkins. And then there's Dexter Lawrence, he's a run stuffer.
Which I never understood, and I said this draft night too. I was like, people forget that I said it draft night, but even in college, the dude always got up to the line and disrupted the QB by batting passes.
Also destroyed Daniel Jones.
Yeah, no, a lot of people cited that for when they didn't like the Daniel Jones pick. They were like, he got wrecked by the dude we drafted after him.
Yeah, and now they're working together in a great tandem.
Exactly. I mean, that's got to be kind of cool for DJ to be practicing against Dexter Lawrence. The guy he had probably his worst game against was probably against that Clemson line.
He really struggled against Clemson.
Which is understandable. I mean, the dude had like a banana peel as his offensive line.
Right.
Come on. Bradley says, well, first I get to Joel Yaddo. Hal Hunter was the O-line's biggest problem the last couple of years. Now we get to see what good coaching can do. I agree, and I never realized it, man, and we haven't even seen the product on the field yet, but Mark Colombo is the best offensive line coach in the NFL.
In the NFL.
We're going from Hal Hunter, who I don't want to bad talk because, he's a former Giant. He's basically a Giant. I don't want to bad talk him, but his work speaks for itself, man. His work speaks for itself. Man, was trash.
How long was he with the Giants
I don't know.
as an O-line
I
coach?
know it has to be more than 3 years, bro. It has to be at least since 2016.
Because
I
you're
want to
you're
say.
talking about cycling through Eric Flowers and I don't think Bobby Hart. I think Bobby Hart's been off the team for longer than
Bobby
that.
Hart was
But
on the 2016 squad though.
okay, so if Hal Hunter was there, then Bobby Hart, Eric Flowers. I mean, a bunch of these clowns, man. And he couldn't do anything with them,
Hmm.
which was unfortunate.
And Bradley says Smith did learn from Kittle. Never forget. And by the way, Caden Smith's like draft story and George Kittle's draft story is basically the same. They were both
Good.
guys that were betting receiver and tight ends, and people get him credit for. Of course, Kittle is like light years ahead of Caden Smith, and they were both taken by the 49ers in like the 6th, 5th round ish area.
Right,
Listen, man.
yeah, fifth round pick, Kittle.
You think he learned more from Kittle than people expected? I mean, after seeing that pass, he
I
did. He was
hope
basically
so.
under him for like a year. So
Yeah, I hope so. I'm never the guy to say, well, he knows this player, so he's gonna be like him. But you never know if they're in the tight end room together. At some point they were in the tight end room together. He may have learned some things from George Kittle, may have picked up on some stuff and made it his own.
mhm.
So as far as Caden Smith goes, let's see what happens. I have some high hopes for him in being the second tight end. But yeah, I love that pass, man. That pass was insane.
And Mr. No, this is actually Toast. Actually, he says he's waiting for Kidblue to wear the Nick Gates jersey, but the jersey's a custom Cowboy jersey. When Nick Gates signs with the Cowboys 2 years down the line, don't be surprised if Kidblue
Oh
gets
man,
that
no, no,
jersey.
no, 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 no,
And
no.
Mr. Fishing kind of piling on to that, isn't Dez still looking for work? Why don't we bring him in? You would like that, wouldn't you, Kidblue?
I made a video on that a couple of months ago. I wanted Dez Bryant to be
Yo,
worked
I
out.
told y'all y'all do not listen to me, bro. I told y'all he's a Cowboys
No,
fan.
listen, I'm not. I don't view him as a Cowboy. I view him as a wide receiver that this team has desperately needed. The type of wide receiver this team.
And
has
before we
desperately
get into that, KB, I want to ask you this: why in the world has Dez not gotten work? It's not like the dude completely fell off. He was still
Well,
at near the top of his game in his last
things are
season.
starting to ramp up now. Things are starting to ramp up because the Ravens are actually going to bring him in for a workout. We'll see if he actually gets signed.
But the
But
thing I never understood is, right, his last season with the Cowboys in 2017, it's not like he was terrible. Sure, he wasn't at the top of his game. Like, Dez at the
Right.
top of his game is a top 10 receiver in the league.
Mhm.
But he wasn't terrible. He was still a good top 15, top 20. I never got the fact that after the Cowboys released him, nobody signed him. I never got that.
I never got that. Now I kind of understand now because he's been a few years out removed from the
Yeah.
league, so I can understand why people don't want to sign him. Because I feel like
But back in
he's lost his
2018, like,
spot.
what happened?
I don't
So-
I don't understand. I think it.
So would you
See,
say it's
I
a locker room something then?
See, that's what I want to say. I want to say it's locker room issues, but we've seen players time and time again with worse issues than him get signed.
Antonio Brown the very next year.
And Antonio Brown got signed the next few weeks.
Hmm.
I mean, a team traded for him, for crying out loud. Oakland traded for the guy. Okay, so I mean, it doesn't even matter what the trade value was; they still traded for him. And then a few weeks after, actually, I think a couple of days after Oakland released him, the Patriots picked him up.
It was not a couple days. It was the very next day. I remember that.
very
I was
next
going
day.
crazy like by myself. I was like, "Yo, this man." That was when the conspiracy started. I was like, "This was the plan from the beginning."
Exactly, and let me tell you, when it comes to Des Bryant, do you guys really think that he's not humbled? Do you guys really think that he's gonna be pulling off the same?
You know what it
antics that he
reminds
did
me
with
of?
Cowboys?
It reminds me of Melo when Melo got released from the Rockets and he was basically
Yeah.
out of the NBA for an entire year. He
Mhm.
got so humbled that he's willing to come off the bench now for the Blazers.
Right. But now he's starting for the Blazers, but
Out of necessity, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, they were
necessity,
struggling.
but yeah, I mean, that's exactly how I see Dez. He should be signed by a team, and I really wanted the Giants to bring him in here. And a lot of people are thinking, well, why do you want him? He's washed. Listen,
We
if
don't know
Dez
if he's
Bryant-
washed. I want to say we don't know if he's washed.
Yeah, but the thing is, people are expecting him to be a number one wide receiver, and that's not how I'm looking at him. I'm not looking at him as that. If he winds up to be more productive than what we signed him for, listen, he's not going to get anything more than $1 million. He's been out.
He's going to get the vet minimum, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to get the vet minimum. He's not going to be signed for anything. If he can just be a red zone threat, I don't even care if he's not
Bro,
on the field.
he's going to be not even the third option. He'll be like the fourth option in the wide receiving room, and he's way more than good enough to be that. He's not good enough to be number one, but a fourth option, he's way more than good enough to be a fourth option.
This guy can get let's say, freaking 400 yards and 6 touchdowns because he's a red zone threat. If he can get just 400 yards but 6 touchdowns, I would be ecstatic with that. I think that's a great role player. You know, people think of Des Bryant, they think of, oh, you want him to be a star receiver, you want him to be the number one, you want him to be, catching all those, what kind of passes are they called?
The
That Tony
bombs.
Romo always threw to Des
I mean, I
Bryant.
know Tony always threw him bombs.
Yeah, bombs and those catches you gotta stop short. I'm blanking right
Comebacks?
now. No, not the comeback. Forget about it. Anyway, those passes.
Yeah.
When it comes to Des Bryant, but I just see him as a red zone threat. I see him as a guy that you're just going to.
I mean, the reason people think of
Take
him
her down.
as that is because that's what he left. That's where when he left the game, that's what he was. You know what I'm saying? That it kind of goes back to that. Like people are kind of in the same mindset that I'm at. Is like, why in the world was he even let go? But how old is he now? He's like what, 32, 33 or something?
Something like that. I think he can still play.
Yeah.
32 years old. Back shoulder passes. There we go. Back shoulder passes. Okay, that's what Tony Romo loved throwing to him constantly because he was so deadly at that. But I'm not expecting him to do that. I'm expecting him to be a role player. Just a guy to come off the bench and when the time presents itself, when we're in the red
I mean,
zone.
listen, I wouldn't say it's completely out of the question. I'd like to think Jason Garrett and Dez would have somewhat of a good relationship.
They don't.
Oh, they do not. Okay, what's the info
only
here?
That's the only reason why I don't see Dez coming here is because Dez Bryant and Jason Garrett always butt heads.
I
There was
didn't
this
know
one
that.
locker
Okay.
room video a couple years ago where Dez is like screaming at Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett never really had control of the team. That was the thing. That's why Jason Garrett sucked as a head coach because he had no like thum, right? He had no bass in his voice. He just didn't care. He just clapped along, and they got tired of it. That's why he got kicked out because they got tired of it. But he's a very smart coach. He just couldn't get the team to fight for him.
Exactly. I mean, unless you got more to say on the Dez thing, I kind of agree with you. I mean, give it a shot. We're already down one receiver in Cody Core. I know people would say, well, Core was a role player. You never know what's going to happen next, just like laps all season. I mean, going back to what we started off with, nobody saw XAVIER being out for basically half of the season and David Mayo being out for the entire season. And before we actually switch back to that, because we didn't really even talk about replacements for these guys, we just kind of switched topics. I want to address the chat real quick. Kwachi says, it's me, Raymond. I changed name. Okay, that's Raymond Manif. Bradley says, I'm still in shock about Andrew Thomas shoving Bama, Notre Dame, I think that's ND, Notre Dame, and Kentucky. Well, listen, man, Kidblue was more in shock than you were when he first saw that film, man. Toast says, I wish in 2019 we drafted Devin Bush with the 6th pick instead of DeAndre Baker. We drafted DJ. Well, DJ would not have been available at pick 30, bro. Toast.
Yeah,
That's what he's saying.
like
He wanted to
28 or
draft.
something like that.
He wanted to draft Devin Bush, then Dexter Lawrence, then Daniel Jones is not going past like 10th overall, bro.
Yeah, I think Denver won.
Denver was like at
Trade
10th,
back.
yeah. He's not going past Denver, bro. And even if he slips past Denver, Washington wanted him. At least Dan Snyder wanted him. He's not going past not Dan Snyder, Jay Gruden at the time. He wasn't gonna get past Jay Gruden at all. We got BBS is a Cowgirls fan. Nerding out, following that up. Clearly a Cowboys fan. You're not exactly helping your case.
Yeah, not exactly. But hey, he's not a Cowboy anymore. He hasn't been a Cowboy for 2 years. So.
Yeah. Quachi said, don't forget, we have Sean Chandler, the undrafted free agent safety from 2 years. Sean Chandler is actually still on the team, and I didn't know that.
Yes, and I would agree with you. I love Sean Chandler coming out of Temple. For some reason, he does not play how he played at Temple. I mean, he took the worst angles whenever he was on the field, and that was in 2017 when we first started. No, not 2017.
2018.
2018 when we started using Sean Chandler, and we had like B.W. Webb out there and those clowns out there.
Riley Curtis or something. Curtis Riley.
Yeah, Curtis Riley. Oh man, Curtis Riley was bad. I don't know. People hyped him up because he had like 4 interceptions or something like that. I
remember when the Titans signed him and Titans fans were hype. I'm like, y'all are not knowing what you actually getting with this man, Curtis Riley, bro.
Yeah, he's bad. But Sean Chandler just took the worst angles I've ever seen in my life. Like he allowed so many huge plays. I mean, he's just not good. Sean Chandler needs to develop. And I would never throw him out there as a starting safety ever.
Sports Expert, shout out to the Sports Expert in the chat as well. Go check out his channel. John Doe says, in short, Garrett smells like a weasel. I wouldn't necessarily say that. He was really just a terrible head coach, bro. That's
Yeah,
really
he just
about
had
it.
terrible leadership qualities. He couldn't lead. That's the
Yeah.
issue. But he's an offensive coordinator right now, and I think that's his best role. I honestly don't think he should be a head coach, man. I just stay offensive coordinator.
I'd be surprised if he doesn't realize that about himself. I would be
Yeah.
surprised if he doesn't
I
realize
mean,
that.
I'll be honest. I don't think he had anything to do with how, if any, success the Cowboys had in the past 10 years, him being there. I don't think he had anything to do with that. I just think the Cowboys always had a good roster in place. They drafted well. They brought in free agents, Tony Romo and Des Bryant. The strong offensive line, which I think he had something to do with, because his offensive scheme. But the success or lack thereof. I mean, I don't think it was because of Jason Garrett.
I agree with you. Bobbitt says, Hub, how was your online classes at Hunter? He just had online at Baruch today. Oh, you go to Baruch, Bobbitt? That's cool. So for me, real quick, I had one class scheduled for today, and my teacher didn't even pull up. He just sent an email with lecture notes, and that was it. So my class, which was scheduled for today, I was just like, so no classes today, huh? So I emailed him. I'm like, yo, what's up? Obviously, I didn't say, yo, what's up. But I was like, yo, what's up? So are we not going to have virtual classes? He's like, he's an old guy, so he's still learning how to do it. I'm like, okay, this might be a while. This is going to be an interesting semester for that class at least. KB is 56 feet and 3 inches tall.
I'd love to think that, yeah.
Nice. Can you do the BBS pose?
Can I do the is that the...
Yeah. Wait,
No,
your fingers are showing off the camera. Bring them closer. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
Ligma says KB is Giannis height, bro. How tall is Giannis? He's like 6'8", 6'9"?
I think he's like almost 7. But
Almost 7 feet, right?
John Doe says, how's Matt Parrott doing? Matt Parrott's been doing really well, actually. Been doing really well. Now I don't think he's gonna start, but he's been doing really well. I mean, he's making me happy. He handled Marcus Golden pretty nicely.
You thinking Cam Fleming week 1?
I think that's where it's looking like. I just don't think they're just gonna throw in Matt Parrott day 1. I do see Matt Parrott eventually starting, especially with how well he's doing in training camp. I think they would be foolish not to throw him in there at least a couple times just to see how he would do, especially later on in the season. Because I don't think, obviously, Cam Fleming is not the future of the Giants. It should be Matt Parrott. So.
What do you think about? Did you see the quotes that Joe Judge had to say about Cam Fleming when somebody actually asked about him? And I was surprised it took so long for a reporter to actually ask about a veteran tackle that's on our roster. Did you hear what Judge had to say about him?
No.
So Judge was basically like, we shouldn't underestimate Cam Fleming. He's known Fleming for a long time because Fleming was with the Patriots a couple years back. He's like, he has a lot of trust in him. I mean, he won a lot of big games with Cam Fleming. Now, obviously, I'm like, yeah, you got a point there, Joe Judge, but this was years ago. Cam Fleming, he's not that guy anymore. And even at that point, he was kind of transitioning into a swing tackle mode. But what do you think about Judge with the high praise for Fleming there?
I mean, I think it's just, being not non-controversial. I think, it's just it's very hard to distinguish what's real and what's not in these press conferences. It's so cookie cutter, man. It's just like they're always beating around the bush. They're always, trying not to really answer the question to the fullest of their ability.
I mean, I low-key feel like some of these questions are just like always the same question every single press conference as well.
Right, they're the same question and they're always giving the same answer.
Yeah.
Sometimes different questions get the same answer because they don't want to give out too much. And, Cam Fleming, I'm sure he believes in Cam Fleming. Otherwise, Cam Fleming wouldn't be here, So I'm sure there's some truth to that, to what he's saying, but I don't really think he believes in Cam Fleming to start all these games and just be the tackle moving forward. I just think he's just taking it a day at a time with Cam Fleming until Matt Parrott develops.
Quachi says, how many games will we lose by at least 14 plus? Oh, okay, so that's a lot. But I can definitely think of a couple that could probably get out of hand. The Bucks one could get out of hand, and we could lose that by 14 plus.
Niners, Ravens.
Niners, I'm not sure if we'll lose by 14 plus by the Niners because I have no faith in Jimmy G. But I mean,
it's just
maybe.
That defense, man. I can't.
The defense is probably going to hold us to below 14 for sure. But the
exactly.
offense still has to produce. I don't know. Maybe Niners. Rams is one that people are not thinking about that could get out of hand. Like, it could slip very quickly and go
man,
left.
Once upon a time, they had a historic offense.
Yeah.
And nobody's thinking about that.
Who else? Ravens. Ravens could
definitely.
We could definitely lose by 14 plus against the Ravens. I wouldn't be surprised Cowboys with their offensive weapons if we lose to them by 14 plus in one of these games. There's a good. I don't want to say there's a good amount, but there's definitely a couple that come to mind immediately. Kwachi. Toast says Saquon's gonna have a great year this year. He better. With this offensive line, I know they're gonna struggle, the first couple of weeks because of obvious reasons. But with this specific offensive scheme, man's better be having like 1,300, 1,400 rushing yards.
I want to say that, and I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Saquon better perform because that offensive line his rookie year was so bad. Patrick Noname, Eric Flowers is still there. I mean, that line was so bad. He was able to perform. He better perform with these guys, man.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
unless he re-aggravates his injury. Did you see that he limped off the field on Monday?
No, but I saw a practice film of him today.
Yeah, but on Monday he limped off of the field and he wasn't looking good. I was surprised he was back in practice on Tuesday. I had to do I found out during my Madden stream. Bro, when I tell you like the entire like vibe of the stream got killed when I found that out, bro. The entire vibe got killed. I thought I was being trolled. So I pulled up the display capture and I went to Google. I'm like Saquon injury, and then it was like I think it was the post or something, or like Saquon Barkley limps off a practice field. Today I was like, huh? This man better not be injured, bro. If this man is injured, I'm calling for everybody to get fired, bro. But I really hope he doesn't re-aggravate anything. I got no faith in Wayne Gallman. I have very little faith in Dion Lewis. Maybe I should have more, but I got no faith in Wayne Gallman. Javon Leake. I got no faith in Javon Leake until he proves himself. Like, I got no faith in anybody but Saquon, man. If he goes down, that's it. For the running game, at least. Daniel Jones could pull out a couple of magical games and will probably win like 2 or 3 more games.
Man,
but
it sucks because you just mentioned Javon Leake, and I'm like, man, by this time, we should already be seeing some of these rookies, man. If it wasn't for this stupid pandemic, we should be in like our second preseason game, man.
If it wasn't for this pandemic, Joe Judge wouldn't be filling socks up with soap bars to hit Daniel Jones. For those of you that saw that video on YouTube, the Giants tweeted out, not on YouTube, on Twitter, the Giants tweeted out. So reporter, because Joe Judge was like, he wants to pop the pads a little on Daniel Jones, get him a little roughed up, get him hit a little so he's going to be prepared for the season. And, he answered jokingly, yeah, man, we're going to just hit this man with a sock full of soap.
A little Full Metal Jacket vibes there.
Exactly. I mean, but what do you think about that? I don't like it. I don't care. This man has been playing football his entire life. It's going to take him one hit, and then all the rest is going to be off.
I think it's distasteful being with what we just experienced today, losing 2 guys for potentially the season.
Mm-hmm.
Half a season for XAVIER McKinney, I think it's a little bit distasteful, insensitive. I think that's a bad look automatically. I'm sure PR was
you're talking about the joke? Or
No, not the joke. I'm talking about the red jerseys. I'm like taking off the red jersey.
Well, he said that before they got injured, though.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying now,
Mm-hmm.
now it doesn't look good, because you already got 2 key players to go down. The last thing and think about it. He said this. He said he shouldn't have said it to begin with. Why? Because he says this, right? Oh, I'm gonna take out the red jersey, see what happens, right? The next day, Daniel Jones goes down, gets walloped, right? Goes down and is out for a couple of weeks. Everybody's gonna be looking at Joe Judge. What the hell are you doing? You're making guys run laps. You're making coaches run laps. Now you're letting the quarterbacks get hit. You should be fired. You don't know what you're doing. So that
I completely agree with you. I think it's not going to happen anymore. I don't think it's going to happen anymore. Or if it does, it's not going to be full speed.
Right. They definitely should not do that, especially that they're playing a little bit harder than other teams are. You see these practices. They're getting a little bit too much contact. I like it. Trust me, I love it. I love the contact. But I'm just hoping I don't see something live. While I'm watching the training camp live, that somebody just gets hit.
I mean, wait. On Saturday, the Giants are gonna be streaming the scrimmage, right? And it's gonna be on NBC as well.
What?
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, they announced on Twitter that Saturday's live scrimmage is gonna be on TV on NBC, I think, and then they're also gonna stream it.
Oh, that might be the local NBC. I don't know.
Yeah, but they're also gonna stream it on YouTube, I think.
Well, they better stream it because I need to see that.
Yeah, I didn't know people didn't know that. Hold up, you know what? You're gonna disappear for a hot second, but it's okay because I'm gonna pull up the Giants website to confirm where it is. If my computer, apparently my computer will not load. So if we go here. Yeah, they're calling it Blue White Scrimmage Special, presented by Quest Diagnostics.
The high school game.
I just tested the internet and it's fine. Hold up, are you back up on screen now? Yes, you are. I bet. Oh yeah, so I was saying it should be on YouTube. But yeah, John Doe says I want a Joe Judge soap shirt. I mean, John Doe, listen, bro. If you want some shirts, check out my merch shop, bro. I got you. But if you want
yeah.
listen. I could make a Joe Judge soap shirt and put it up on the merch shop as well. You know what I'm saying? If there's a demand for that, I ain't got a problem. I could whip up a design real quick and put it up. Probably like a sock spinning, got the soap and the suds forming the word Joe Judge or something like that. That would be pretty cool. Kwachi says pull up the Washington schedule, name a game they will win. I'm done, bro. Name a game they will win. Okay, Washington's not gonna go 0-16. First of all, well, what do you have Washington going?
I want to, because every single year I have them like 4-12. But they have made improvements. Their team is better. But I never can move past like a 5-11, 4-12 season for them.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they prove it wrong, but it seems like no matter how much they upgrade that team, because you look at the
Kwachi says, okay, name a game they will win.
That's gonna be harder.
I mean. Listen, they're not winning. I really think this might be harsh. Hopefully that's not why, but it could be why. Hopefully it was just that call or something. If it continues happening, I'll just turn off video. This reminds me of like one of our very first Young Guns episode.
Yeah.
Haven't had this happen in a long time. Bear with us, guys. Yeah. So can you name a game they will win, bro?
Name a game they'll win.
And do you think they might go just not win a game in the division?
I think they may beat Philly. They play tough with Philly,
mm-hmm.
and Philly's a little weak right now, so they may beat Philly. I don't see them beating us, and I don't see them beating Dallas. I see them beating Cincinnati, but I cannot. It's very hard for me to envision the Washington football team beat anybody of significance.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. Even with Chase Young, even with Terry McLaurin, I just can't see it, man. I can't see it.
I mean, yeah, to be honest, and honestly, the Washington football team, they're gonna struggle this year. That's all I'm gonna say, man. They're gonna struggle real hard.
Yeah.
And shout out to Kuzan in the chat. He says he is fuming that his man McKinney is out. We are always unlucky. Listen, it's tough being a Giants fan, man. This is 2-3 seasons in a row now. No, 4 seasons if you count 2017. That we always just get hit with injuries, whether it's during the season or before the season.
Yeah.
I mean, 2017 was by far the worst. But let's talk about the dude Julian Love, who's definitely going to step up and who has been doing well in training camp. What do you think about Julian Love now? He's basically going to be slotted into free safety, depending on how long McKinney is going to be out. They might extend it to like. Say Julian Love is just having an amazing season, they might just let McKinney sit out the entire season.
I wouldn't want him to. I wouldn't want because the next year the Giants is when the Giants are planning to take things serious. In my opinion, I think the Giants want to compete next year.
I'm telling you, bro, Super Bowl 56.
Yeah, and I think that's why the Giants are like taking drastic measures right now. They're putting tennis balls on the damn defensive back, trying to limit penalties. They're trying to fix so much things in such a little amount of time, which tells me that they want to compete soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I want Xavier McKinney to get as much experience as he can, so he's not left behind when everybody during that season is like, all right, I'm ready to win this, and then Xavier McKinney is like, well, I'm new to this. I haven't been on the field. I'm just learning this stuff, and we're out here competing. I want Xavier McKinney to get some time. That's why I said I want him to come back before Week 10. I know that may be pushing it. I got a little flack on my video for saying that, but I want, even if it's a limited role, if it's just limited, if his snap count is just a couple of snaps that he plays at safety just to not aggravate his injury or his foot, I want him to play, to get a feel of the game, to get a chemistry with the guys around him. And that doesn't mean Julian Love can't play either. Like I said, I think the Giants initially wanted to have all 3 of these guys on the field at some point. So I don't think that's going to be too bad for Julian Love. Now, will he be getting probably less, a little bit less playing time sometimes? Probably, when they just want to use Jabril or Xavier. But I want Xavier McKinney to play this year, man. I love Julian Love. I think he'd be fine filling in Xavier's place. But I want McKinney to play.
The one place I disagree with you is when you said even have him on a limited snap count. If he has to be on a limited snap count, in my opinion, just don't put him in at all. It's not like, I don't know, it's not like the NBA where you could put them on limited minutes and then you're confident that no injury is going to happen. Because even on a limited snap count, you're going to get banged around, you're going to get roughed up, you're going to get hit as a football player.
Less at a time.
It is gonna be less, but I feel like if it's still limited snap count, let the dude sit out. I don't want to risk anything, terrible happening, even if the risk is small, because he's supposed to be one of the cornerstones, the future cornerstones of the defense. You don't want to, you don't want to risk that.
Right, right.
Bradley says, can we create a first-person VR game of Andrew Thomas versus Josh Allen? I know it's annoying with this, but what he did is not normal. Would you agree? What Andrew Thomas did is not normal.
Man, I still visualize that, man. I still visualize Josh Allen just being thrown off the screen. You know,
we don't even play the Jaguars for another couple of years, man. It's gonna be a while before we see that recreated. But I'm telling y'all, bro.
Man, that'll be fun.
I'm telling y'all, he's gonna do the same thing to Chase Young, bro. He's gonna do the same. Young might be a bit heavier, but he's gonna do the same thing to Chase Young, bro. He's gonna do. Yeah.
You see, Andrew Thomas versus Chase Young in high school. I mean, like they were in like they bring in all these top recruits and they have them play against each other in high school. I forgot what it's called, but Andrew Thomas did well against Chase Young there. So.
The internet right now, my upload speed is a bit low, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I mean, listen. We are going to, we're going to end it right here. I mean, we covered the main things. I wanted to get into, Evan Ingram versus Lorenzo Carter and the stuff that happened during Tuesday's practice and whatnot. But we can't exactly have a good podcast going if it keeps getting interrupted because of connection issues, guys.
Right, the mojo is.
Yeah, it just keeps messing up the flow of things and whatnot. But thank you all for tuning in, man. Of course, as usual, thank you to my boy Kidblue for coming on. We're going to be on his channel next week. Guys.